We'll start with Kelsey Russo, please. Go ahead, and then we'll do Chris Fetter.
Kelsey Russo, The Athletic. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I was curious with Darius's inclusion on the select team and being there with you guys playing against him. What do you think this opportunity just means for him, and what it will mean for him in his career?
Well, just from experience coming from the select team in 2008, I mean, just getting a chance to play against some of the best players in the world and with some of the best players in the world, the next generation of guys. I mean, it's great for him, especially coming off his second year. As you guys know, you and Chris know, he had a big, stepped up in a big way this past year, showed what he was capable of, and just continued to get right and trend in the right direction with his game. So I think this, just being here, playing against us, playing with the number of guys that he's with on the select team it can be really big for him and pushing through and making a big step in that third year.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll go to Chris Felder and then Yal Bansu, please.
Hey, Kev. Good to see you, man.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
Hey, what made you want to take advantage of this opportunity and play?
When I got asked to play, it was an emphatic yes. I mean, I've been a part of USA basketball, again, like I said, since 2007, my senior year of high school. For the USA World game that we played at the FedEx Forum in Memphis. So, just having experience, coming off a year that was pretty tough for me, and finally those last probably 4 or 5 games I was playing in, feeling really good. Finally getting over that last hurdle of my injury and now feeling great. I thought it was a great opportunity for me to play high level basketball and have that transition into this next season. But just, competing for a gold medal, playing for USA, getting to wear this there's just nothing like it. So, being in the system has been incredible for me. And every time that I've come, off of playing with, this program and what it means to me in my career has always been great for me. So I thought this would be instrumental in getting me right and feeling healthy and going out and playing great basketball.
And beyond obviously competing for another gold medal, Kevin, is there something that you want to show specifically during this training camp, during the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, just that, I can still be, the player that I was before I had, a couple tough injuries. This is the best I've felt in a long time. Right after the season ended, I didn't really take any time off. I continued to rehab and stay in shape and just keep myself ready. My number was called for USAB. Obviously, there was a couple of guys that went down with injuries throughout the playoffs, but I just continued to work my way into shape, not knowing if the call was going to come. But when it did, I felt like it was a great opportunity for me to, come out and show what I'm capable of and add value to this team and have a different skill set than, say, Bam or Draymond or guys playing, that 5 position or maybe even that 4 position as well.
Thanks and good luck.
Thanks, Chris.
Next up, we have Yal Bansu, and then we'll go with Fran Fraschilla.
Hey, Kevin, obviously there are many people, you're the odd one out, social media has been very vocal about it, but how much is that adding fuel to your fire in terms of what you look to accomplish in this run?
Listen, I've been odd man out really since in 14, 15. This isn't new to me. I was, somebody that's always had to step up, somebody that's always had to deal with that adversity. In a way I understand it because, I came off a season where, I didn't play that many games and, wasn't at the top of my game. I'm very vocal about that in the public, saying that I wasn't where I wanted to be, mostly for my team, for my coaching staff, and for the Cavs in general. So, for me to come here, I feel like, I have a lot to prove, but I feel that way, coming into every season. And I've been, obviously it's been unlucky, unfortunate, and there's been, things that happen, injuries happen. You've seen this whole year that happen with guys. So, for me, yeah, I think when I have something to prove, it's, it always blends for better basketball for me. But just being around these guys, I think helps elevate my mindset and my game in a big way. But, again, that doesn't really phase me. I'm 13 years in now. Basically, I've heard it all. All I can do out there, all I can do is go out there and chase the game and let everything fall into place and just bust my ass and see what I can do for this team.
when you mentioned you're 13 years in, you've played with some of the best players in the world, obviously Kyrie Irving, LeBron James as well. And you mentioned Bam and you mentioned Draymond. In year 13, how much can you pick up from them, or actually anybody on the team, in order to get back to what some people would call "quote unquote" prime Kevin Love?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I always feel like on or off the court that everybody's kind of my superior in a way that I can learn from them. And those are two guys with incredible skill sets. I know Bam's coming on here to speak next, but he's somebody that I really admire. He's actually somebody whose jersey that I have in my locker. It's a very select few, but I love how he plays. I love, what he's about, his story, where he's came from, and, just how great he's done in this league in a very short period of time. And then obviously with Draymond, it's a love-hate relationship going back, but we've become actually pretty close friends in the last few years. Love how he competes, his mind for the game, his intangibles, how he leads the break, he passes, he plays defense, seems like he's always in the right spot, and he's first team all defense and has been defensive player of the year for a reason. So I think we can all elevate each other's games and pick up a number of things, but that's the beauty of the off season. And, you can always work on something. You can always add a couple things to your game, no matter, how old you get, or going into your 14th season in the league, or going into your, second Olympics after 9 years. I think there's always stuff that you can add, but, that's the beauty of this game, like I said.
Thank you very much.
Please limit your questions to one. We have a lot of people here that are trying to get questions in. So we'll go with Fran Fraschilla, and then next up will be Brian Windhorst on deck.
Kevin, 11 years ago, you were part of a crazy night in Istanbul when you won the World Championship. KD went nuts playing against Turkey. You were a young player about to play in your first Olympics, I think 2 years later. Put the USA experience in perspective from that young Kevin Love in Istanbul that night to the guy that's getting this opportunity to go to Tokyo.
I mean, 2010 was wild. I mean, even backing it up to, like I mentioned, 2007 in high school, playing with that team, with that 2007 class, as and saw early on how great that class was. 2008, the select team, just going against the Redeem team was incredible. With Kobe and Bron and CP, just all those guys were incredible. D Wade, Melo, all the way to 2010, making that team going to Istanbul, where we had a very, very young group. I remember only having Chauncey, I think it was Lamar, Tyson Chandler. Those were our veterans on that team. And then everybody else was pretty much 23, 24 years and younger. So that was an incredible experience. Played the host team in the final. That was it felt like 25,000 people against us 12. Then fast forward to 2012, it was 5 players from that team, 5 players from the 2008 team. And then you added James Harden and AD, just coming fresh out of Kentucky. Fast forward 9 years now, it's been crazy to see, and amazing to see what USA basketball has been able to do. Then putting together this group that we have here, it's impressive. Just in our first practice today, it feels like this group has been together for a while. Our communication was there, our defensive schemes were there. Everybody seemed to come into camp in shape. Went through our offensive possession shot quite a bit, and everything seemed to be running pretty smooth. So I think just put it in perspective, just incredibly humbled to be here, thankful to be here, grateful to be here, and excited to see what we can do this next 6 weeks.
Thank you,
Kevin. You a lot of guys who are in their phase of their career that you're in right now talk about like a last act, where they transition to a different part of their career. We've seen some guys be very successful doing that. Is that a phase that you're at right now, where you may pivot kind of the way you play and the role that you want to play on a team at this stage of your career, maybe the role that you're playing on this team here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I understand going into my 14th season, that, probably being that number one guy playing 35 minutes, getting 20 touches a game, is probably in my rear view. But in how I can affect a team at my level and feeling how I'm feeling now, I know that I can do it at a very high level. So I don't try to put a ceiling or a limit on myself at all. So long as I'm feeling good, I know that I'm going to play good. I'm going to chase the game like I always have. But I do believe that, if it's asked, for me and on me to have to pivot in my career for a team to win, I'm more than willing to do that. And, even with this year with the Cavs, just seeing, our bright young guns stepping up, and having to play a different role because, I wasn't all the way healthy was amazing to see. I mean, those guys work extremely hard, whether it be Jared Allen, Isaac Okoro, Colin Sexton, DG, and so on and so forth. Like those guys are, we're 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. Obviously got to get a year older throughout the year, but it was impressive what they were able to do and be the new, young stars of our team. But I do feel like, on that team or, whichever team I end up on, a USA team, this is definitely something that, I can continue to progress in the right way for really, anybody. It doesn't matter who I'm out there with or who I'm playing with out there on the floor. I'm going to bring, my style of basketball and do whatever I need to do to win.
Thanks, Kevin. Two more questions here. Tim Reynolds, and then we'll do Marla Ridenauer.
Hi, Kevin. Good to see you.
Hey.
Without asking you to share state secrets or get into trouble, whether it was from last night when you guys met or today or whatever, what has been your takeaway from Pop so far, just as far as his emphasis and sort of what that process will be like to take some enormously talented individuals and have them become a team in about 2 weeks? What have you taken away from that? Thank you.
No, I think you just said it. I think the thing that most of us took away from not only last night, but this morning is that, most of these teams on their national teams from around the different countries and around the world have all been together, not only for the last week and a half, 2 weeks playing together, but some of them since, they were 14, 15, 16 years old playing professionally. Are playing on their feeder teams with their country. So for us, we have to, get together as a group and get together fast and pick up on schemes and, get our offense down, play together. Because most of us, haven't been, shared the floor all too much together, maybe on a USA team, maybe on, all-star teams, something of that nature. But it felt like today that, again, like I said earlier, that we've been playing together for quite a long time. We felt like we were on the same page. And I think the biggest thing for us is communication and just time spent out there on the floor. But I think the luxury that we have throughout this time, especially, these next 2 weeks, is that, everybody's in the same orbit. Everybody's so close to each other and connected. And, obviously the last, 18 months, whatever it is, with COVID and the pandemic, it's kind of forced us even now to have an even tighter kind of skeleton or tighter crew. So we've had to spend a lot of time, or we'll have to spend a lot of time together. So it's just going to help, nurture and foster some great relationships on the floor. And that's going to, I think, bode well for what we're going to do out there.
Thanks, Kevin. Last question. Is it Marla Ridenauer?
Yeah, Marla Ridenauer, Akron Beacon Journal. Hi, Kevin. In a season-ending press conference, Kobe Albin said this was a significant off-season for you. Did you take that as a challenge, or did you even need that? I mean, do you view it the same way, or did you consider that a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I feel like every off-season is a significant off-season for me or for anybody. I think more so his context and intent. Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a challenge just to me. Maybe not even a challenge. That's the wrong word, but just wanting me to get healthy and be myself. I think that's just a conversation that we had throughout the year. Had a minor setback and finally started feeling like myself towards the end of the season, and then boom, the season was over. So I think it is a big off season for me. I always try to add a couple things throughout the time spent, and I think just being around these guys, seeing that I can learn from them and kind of take my game to a different level or add some new things is going to be great for me. So absolutely, I look at it as a big summer for me in the context of, again, every summer is big for me, but I think USA basketball has always, done well for me and obviously getting me in shape, but also, pushing me into, having a great year and, playing some great basketball.